Alright people, what's going on? Space Cowboy here. Welcome back to the channel. Got another video for you guys. Before we get into today's video, please make sure to hit this video with a like. It helps the channel out a lot. Also, please make sure to subscribe. If you're enjoying the content, about 80 to 90% of you guys that are watching, you're not subscribed. So if you want to get more of the content, you keep coming back, feel free to do that. And hit the notification bell as well to be notified when I go live or post new content so you don't miss out. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about Aldon Smith, okay? Aldon Smith has been officially reinstated conditionally by the NFL. Now, if you don't remember who Aldon Smith is a former player from the 49ers, then Oakland Raiders. He has been known to be an extremely very good talent when it comes to football and the game of it. Unfortunately, there have been some demons that have caused him to derail his career for the most part. He looked really good with the 49ers starting, I believe it was his sophomore season. He had an all-pro season, and he had 19.5 sacks, if I recall. And keep in mind that even without the sacks, and even when he came into the NFL initially, he was a top 10 pick with the 49ers. He was really good in what he provided for that 49ers defense. I mean, he was one of those key contributors, especially on that Super Bowl run. But with that being said, he's been out of football for 4 years. He's 30 years old and all that other stuff. Now, what's good is now he could take part of the virtual off-season programs and stuff like that. So I wanted to go through a couple of the incentives because a bit more details did come out since I last talked about him. So first, I want to start out with the initial one. He is receiving $90,000 from the Cowboys as a part of the one-year deal he signed back in April. And keep in mind, that deal can be worth up to $4 million with the other incentives. So right now, he's made $90,000 of that $4 million because he's been reinstated. Now, after 30 days of reinstatement, Smith can get another $50,000, and it doesn't mean he has to do anything specifically. It's just as long as he's reinstated for 30 days, he can get that. Then there's another part of it where if he reports to training camp, he can receive another $100,000. He could then get another $100,000 if he could get through 2 preseason games, and if he gets to the end of the preseason, he gets another $100,000. Now, if he doesn't make the 53-man roster, the Cowboys would be on the hook for $440,000 as a part of that deal. And here's the thing, I know that's, some people will be like, well, what's the point of signing him? We kind of look, well, here's the thing. We need to make sure we have enough key contributors and enough people that can compete for the defensive line, because that was a huge issue with more so the interior, but, that's been a thing. Hey, we've wanted a solid, good defensive line rotation, and if you want to get that, you're going to need a lot of good players, and look, let's keep in mind, I'm not saying Aldon's going to be that guy that he was with the 49ers, because keep in mind, he's up there in age, he's about 30 years old, so I'm not expecting much from him now, and I'm rooting for him because I want him to do. I want every player to do well, especially we know Randy Gregory is still waiting for his reinstatement, and considering his situation, I hope he does well. Also, now to continue, there are another couple of bases. Now, if he makes it onto the 53-man roster, Smith will earn a $910,000 base salary and $40,625 every time he is on an active game day roster, okay? Which can total out, assuming he does all 16, $650,000. Now, he does have incentives for sacks as well. If he gets 8, he gets $500,000 for 8 sacks, okay? If he gets 10 sacks, he gets $1 million. If he gets 12 sacks, $1.5 million. And if he gets 14 or above, he gets an additional $2 million. Now, I want to put this in perspective. The Cowboys the only way Aldon Smith is getting the total $4 million is if he takes part in every single offseason program. makes it to the 53-man roster, and gets 14 or more sacks in a season. So if people are saying, oh, that's a lot for a guy, well, the only way you're paying him $4 million is if he plays pretty much every game and he gets you 14 sacks. So there's that. Now keep in mind, Jim Tom Sula has worked with Aldon Smith. For those that don't know, Jim Tom Sula is our defensive line coach, in case we forget, because sometimes, it's been a while since we've talked about some of our other coaches, but so he has that relatability there, because, he was on the staff with Jim Harbaugh when they had Aldon Smith when he was in San Francisco. So, that's huge there. Now, I will say that with Robert Quinn and his exit to the Bears, it does open up a lane for Aldon to compete. Now keep in mind, we did draft Bradley Anae, who I do believe is a huge steal, and I think that if he's given the right, teaching from Jim Tom Sula and Mike Nolan, if those guys can help him out and he can fit well, he could be a potential starter for you. Okay, I was not to go back on that, but I think that was a really good pickup by the Cowboys. Also keep in mind, Randy Gregory could be coming back with his reinstatement, which would be huge. Not only that, you have Tyrone Crawford as of now, who is pretty much your Swiss Army knife on the defensive line, and he's one of your leaders there. So with all that being put into perspective, the Dallas Cowboys really have a lot of talented guys on their defensive line. Now, keep in mind, we could be talking about the potential of Aldon Smith, and maybe he just doesn't make it. Maybe he doesn't make it because they're a better player. But that's the good part. And that's the key thing I wanted to get to, is, at the end of it all, even if Aldon doesn't make the team, the fact is that the Cowboys are willing to take risks, and this is a pretty, this is a low risk, because guess what? He's not going to, if he does something up, the Cowboys can cut him and they don't have to pay him really much of anything, right? They only have to, at most, it's below a minimum salary. However, if he does make his full $4 million, the Cowboys got a pretty productive player. That's a steal of a player. Paying $4 million for a guy that played 16 games, got 14 freaking sacks. That's awesome. Now, and I want to stress this once again, because I think this is something that, and I saw this kind of die down, because I know people were excited, me included, because I was like, yeah, you know what, if this guy, if he's ready to go, and he's ready to contribute, and he can do his thing, I think he can be great for the Cowboys. But I also am realistic in knowing that, look, he's 30 years old, and typically when it comes to defensive linemen, once you get into your 30s and beyond, depending on if you've been injured or not, unless you're an all generation pass rusher, 9 times out of 10 you start kind of falling off in your 30s. Now, who knows if Aldon, the rest, because keep in mind, he hasn't played in 4 years, so that could be something that cancels out because he doesn't have a lot of game time, and also it can hurt him because maybe he just needs those reps, and I'm pulling for him. As well as Randy as well, because as much as I've been hard on Randy because of the nonsense, I just want to, I want to see them do well. Just because knowing how the Cowboys were, and Garrett really not taking, and I hate to mention him or the previous guy, but that's just me personally. I really am pulling for Aldon. I'm really pulling for Randy. Randy should be getting reinstated soon. I don't know, probably in the making of this video. I want to be shocked because of, they're trying to get through a couple things. So, with all that being said, I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments section. What do you guys feel about Aldon being reinstated? What are your expectations for him in 2020? All that other stuff. Feel free to put that in the comments section below. Finally, and just as a reminder, if you haven't already and made it to the end of the video, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hit the notification bell to be notified when I post new content. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
I used to live in Sin Cities like Bruce Willis, but I'm Jackie Chan, karate chopping, I'm still kicking. I used to be chopped and screwed, I'm Lil flipping. Now I'm nice, Mike Jordan, so who's pimping? I'm running man, you the running man, you still slipping. I hit records, you swinging, it's still